Certified Lover Boy. I didn't know this is the album name that we were gonna get. However, I'm not upset about it, right? A lot of people were telling me how corny this album title cover name is and how they wanted it to be something else. They can't believe that Drake would ever do or say something like this. In my opinion, I think this is great news. I don't necessarily like the album name Certified Lover Boy, but if we can be honest with ourselves, has Drake presented himself as anything other than a certified lover boy throughout his entire career? I even got the early track list here, right? Track number 2 is going to be titled Live, Laugh, Love. Track number 3 is going to be titled Unapologetically Me, followed by another track that's titled Yours Truly Obs, one of them featuring Kelly Clarkson. None of this is true. However, one of my biggest positive takeaways from Dark Lane demo tapes was that Drake was not taking the experience or the venture very seriously. I absolutely loved that. It took so much more weight from the project, you know, it meant so much more that the experience was just so much more natural and organic as opposed to anything that was happening on Scorpion, in my opinion. Scorpion was weighed down by anticipation that Drake had to at some point address or include a response to Pusha T's story of Adidas, had to in some way address his child, had to in some way address the rumors, and the whole project, in my opinion, just became a very insecure subtweet. There was a portion of the album that was dedicated to R&B and to singing, but again, after a certain point, it began to feel like a bit of a distraction. You don't make an album or a mixtape like If You're Reading This Is Too Late and people think it's one of your greatest projects by coincidence. Speaking for myself, I will say that that's probably Drake's best project because it contained the smallest amount of effort, in my opinion. It seemed so natural. There was a lot of braggadocio, but at the same time, for Drake at that time, it made sense. He was at the peak of his career. At its height, he was releasing music, hit after hit after hit, banger after banger. There was no point that he had to prove because he was already living proof that I am the biggest example of a hip-hop artist. I've got more money than all of y'all. I got more women than all of y'all. I've got more fans than all of y'all. And I don't have to posture and try to be somebody that I'm not because guess what? I am the guy you're trying to be. But in Scorpion, it felt like he had to prove so much more than what he had already proven in the past. This time, he wasn't trying to just prove himself as like the dude who was at the top. This time, it was like proving himself as an MC, proving himself as a father. This time around, though, I'm feeling a lot better about this. Dark Lane demo tapes was a better project in my opinion for the sole purpose that it wasn't trying too hard. It wasn't trying to do anything crazy. Just a bunch of B-sides or a bunch of unfinished Drake tracks. Drake releases a music video called Laugh Now, Cry Later, a saying that you will find hung up on the wall at any Karen's house. In the music video, releases video of himself crying, losing to KD. I mean, there's just so much in the video that proves that this is going to be a project where Drake doesn't take himself as seriously. Number one, because he doesn't have to, because he's proven who he is and what he's done. Number two, because it's just easier to make music that way. And for a guy that talks the way Drake talks about himself, I don't want that dude taking himself too seriously. One of Drake's better moments in his career is when he wasn't taking things too seriously, when he wasn't overthinking the process. Only a dude who plans on releasing an album full of self-deprecation and a more realistic portrayal of who he is, who he knows himself to be, as opposed to who he wants to be portrayed as, would name an album Certified Lover Boy. I mean, the dude's got a fucking music video where he's crying in it for no reason. You think he's not gonna make fun of himself? So I'm definitely looking forward to it. Certified Lover Boy is a cringe, corny title, but if it's anything like I think it might be a really enjoyable Drake project. Kendrick Lamar might have something as well. I actually have heard talks that his album is done now, and I think I'm worried about Kendrick Lamar's album because there's not much information about it. However, I think I'm more so worried about Kendrick Lamar dropping a project because most of anything in the form of leaks that I've heard, most of anything in the form of snippets that I've heard, haven't been very enjoyable to these ears. There was a track that was floating around a couple days ago that people were put on to again with Busta Rhymes called Look Over Your Shoulder. I guess some people thought it was new, but I've had that track on my desktop for 2 years, and while it's a great song, it's probably the only really good example of a Kendrick Lamar leak that I've heard over the last 2 years. You know, it's funny because Drake on this album doesn't really have much to prove at all, I hope, but Kendrick Lamar I feel like from his fans' perspective, does. I don't know if they want him to release an album that is as deep in concept as To Pimp a Butterfly. I feel he took himself to task on Damn, where he tried to rap about topics that were very intricate and very layered. While he still made a great album with Damn, I don't know what direction he would necessarily go in with another record. If he decides to drop concepts and just make music that he wants to hear, we might be subject to Kendrick Lamar singing, which I don't think is that great. Or reference tracks, I've heard snippets, I've heard leaks, and none of these have gotten me excited about what a Kendrick Lamar record will be. Though I'm not judging what an album from him would be like based off leaks, I've gotten past the point in music where I need an artist or even want an artist to address the plight of our society, because I'm never going to be satisfied with someone's 4-minute take on someone's death being recorded on camera. Never going to be excited about someone giving a 3 to 5 minute brief analysis musically on tragedy happening to black people when I know so much more beyond a song needs to be done for that. So speaking for myself, I don't know if a concept album from Kendrick Lamar, if that is what he's going to release, which, you know, could be great, is something that I would be too invested in, knowing the type of person that I am. Hearing things like that is great, but I've gotten to a point where I've internalized some of those subjects so deeply that hearing a song about it sometimes annoys me. I don't know. I'm worried about a Kendrick Lamar album. I hope it will be great. I've heard again that it's already done. I don't know what it would be about. There's tons of content for him to rap about, but I hope again for Kendrick Lamar's album, he doesn't take the venture too seriously. I know people are going to expect a lot from him as a rapper, given what he's released in the past. If he decides that he wants to make music that's a little bit more vapid, how it's going to be received, I don't know. It's just been so long since I've heard from dude. He may have completely reinvented himself, which I think would be a great thing. But I'll go out on a whim and say that we'll hear a Kendrick Lamar album before October, just like we'll hear a Drake album before October. There's only more weeks to come and more information to be released within those weeks. But I'm definitely excited for what is going to come from that. But that's all I got to say about this. I heard the album title for Drake, and I just kind of was like, hey, this looks like it might be really fun. So that's all I got. Y'all let me know how you feel about these upcoming albums that I believe will be getting sooner rather than later. And I'll see y'all in the next one. All right? Peace.